Well, hey YouTube, welcome back to the channel. We're at the workbench today, and I got my battery pack from eBay. Now I've gone and I've connected on a couple of Anderson power poles there. Given the thickness, the gauge of that wire, that wasn't an easy feat, especially considering I don't have the crimper tool for it. And the reason I don't have the crimper tool for it is because I don't see a reason to spend anywhere between 80 to 100 bucks for a cheap one, and I've seen them as high as like $260 for a crimp tool to crimp down these connectors that literally cost pennies a piece. Seems ridiculous. So I mean, I do all right with it with a pair of needle nose pliers, and I even solder the wires in there to make double sure. But given the size of these wires, because it's not handling a lot of amperage, it was no fun feat, but I did get it done. On top of that, the power connector for the TRU SDX, I've also put in these Anderson power poles. This one I put a boot on. I like to put the boots on them. This one I forgot to get the boot on before I snapped them in place, so oh well, I don't feel like redoing it right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the supplied power cord, plug it into the TRU SDX. We are going to plug in our antenna, and we're going to connect up the power, and we're going to see if this juices things a little bit. I'm on my 40 meter antenna, so let's just switch that over to the 40 meter band. There it is. And we're on 7.030. That'll work. So let's go up and we'll start sending out our pre-programmed CQ. Where is it? 4.2. There it is. And it's sending. We're going to let that send a few times, and we're going to go over to the desktop and see what happens on reverse beacon network. It'll be interesting to see what this is like running off of 12 volts. This is an 8AA holder. It's 4 on each side, so 1.5 volts times 8, that gives me the 12 volts. And the TRU SDX is sending out on 40 meters, 7.030, a CQ. So let's let it run through the cycle a few times. There's a second call. And actually, you know what, just the CQ. Let's leave this here running and we'll see what happens. Let's go over to the desktop and see how things are going. Well, okay, now here we're over at the laptop and we're checking it out. I've set RBN to look for only my call sign. And I've also set it to show the spotters, so we know which ones we're skipping over and which ones we are hitting in the area. Now, take a look. I'm getting about the same, I think, distance as I was before. We got 395 kilometers as the minimum, and I think 795 kilometers as the maximum. And that's about the same distances I was getting at this time of day. It's mid-afternoon, so not the best time for ham radio, but about the same distances as I was just running it off of 5 volt. And I mean, here I don't have to have a computer on or carry around a little 5 volt pack. I'm running right off of that 8AA battery pack that I showed you earlier that I've hooked up with the Anderson power poles. And as we can see, there are a couple I'm skipping over. Let's see if we can increase this size a little bit. If you notice down here in New York, here's one of my signals going through. I pass right by this one right here, WC2L, and it keeps going on all the way down almost to Long Island. Right down almost to the seaport there. Interesting. But yeah, so I do have a bit of a skip zone, I guess, unless it's just not hearing it, and it will later. I don't know. Maybe it's busy or something, but that's the coverage I'm getting on the 12 volt. Pretty much the same thing. Not a whole lot of skip points.
The spotters over in the Toronto to Barrie area, Peterborough area over here, which is where I'm targeting. The spotters don't seem to be up and running today, so that's why I'm missing those. But all that means is that RBN, Reverse Beacon Network, is just not picking up my signal because there's no one listening for it in that area. If there's other hams in that area, more than likely they're hearing it just the way they did before. So that's it for this one. I just wanted to check out and see if I was getting any better mileage in the signal strength using the 12 volt, and it doesn't seem that I am. So that tells me that my antenna is configured properly for NVIS, because it's not shooting way further out. It's maybe a little further out than I was getting before, but not much. And yeah, this is perfect. This is what I'm looking. This is the kind of thing I'm looking for with NVIS, going almost straight up to the atmosphere, and the signal being bent at an opposite angle, as we know that's how it works, and it's coming almost directly back down. And I say almost, and that's what gives you this regional coverage on 40 meter. If I were to have a beam antenna high up on a tower, or some other high up antenna, dipole that was hung 50 feet in the air, likely I'd be getting a DX situation instead of this this regional comms that I'm getting now. So it's looking like I've got my antenna set up nicely. I now have the 8 AA portable battery pack, so I can go out and just not even have to worry about bringing a laptop with me, or worrying about those little 5 volt battery banks that only last really maybe 15-20 minutes would be my guess from a full charge if I were actually communicating. The AA battery ones are going to last a lot longer, and when they run out I can just throw new batteries in it, carry an extra set with me. Whereas those 5 volt rechargeable things, well, I'd have to find a way to recharge it, and I may not have that with me. So this is great, good news, and things keep moving forward, like my other videos have said. Always keep moving forward. In the meantime, be prepared, Canada. It's a tough world out there.